what are the big issues that, that are, you're seeing the need for in your district that is not being handled? Obviously, climate is a big issue. And, if he's probably taking fossil fuel or military money or whatever, whoever he's taking money from.
Yep.
Big time.
So he's not addressing climate. But what are some of your other key issues that you're working on that you think are important? Because immigration to me comes to mind where you are. But I don't know is that an issue in California like it is for the people in Texas?
She's in San Diego. Yeah. She's by Tijuana.
So I know that location wise, but I mean, politically, I don't know if it's the same.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Immigration. I mean, I live 20 minutes away from the border. And we have 2 border crossings within San Diego County as well. So immigration is something that's important to me, especially coming from an immigrant family. So, Chamorros, we were the indigenous people of Guam, but I'm also half Filipina. And so my grandparents immigrated from the Philippines in the 1960s, 1970s to Guam, U.S. territory. And it was so easy for them to come over and build a life. The reason that they left the Philippines was to give a better life for their children. And my grandmother was able to sponsor her entire family. And she had 8 to 10 siblings plus her mom, right? And to think about that process now seems unfathomable. So immigration is definitely important to the district. Climate as well. As you mentioned, San Diego is so beautiful and it's just a great place to live. But some of my favorite places, I am watching the devastation of our biodiversity right before my very eyes. There's this beautiful hike, coastal hike called Torrey Pines, which is where I go to. It's my happy place when I want to
do. I know where it is.
I know.
Yeah, it's beautiful, huh?
Yeah.
And as you know, the Torrey Pines are trees. So this hike was lined with just beautiful thickets and forests of trees. But literally in the last 2 years, a lot of the Torrey Pines trees are dying due to the drought. And, the trees aren't able, because of the lack of water, they're not able to produce the sap that they need to keep these beetles that are killing them out. So it's something that's really near and dear to my heart. But the one thing that is a rising issue is housing. In the last 2 years, San Diego has skyrocketed to the top of the most expensive cities to live in. I mean, even, as a software engineer, I feel the squeeze. So last year, I was fortunate enough to put in 2 offers on 2 condos. I went above 15% of asking price and I still got priced out. Those homes sold for about $630 to $680 last year. And literally a year later, the selling price for one of those units went up to $900,000 in 1 year.
It's not sustainable.
It's atrocious because, I feel ashamed as a software engineer because I'm in a lucrative field. I have benefits, great pay. And when people in STEM feel squeezed, how does the rest of us feel squeezed? And a question that I get asked a lot is, what is an issue, specific to San Diego that you don't feel gets talked about enough? And for me, it's diversity. I've fought for diversity my entire adult life. Being a woman in tech, wanting to create more space in a pipeline for more women and diverse individuals to get into tech, which, as we all know, is not quite there yet in terms of gender and ethnic parity. But what the skyrocketing cost of living and housing does is not only push people out, but the industries that we have here in San Diego as well, military, like you said, biotech, tech, they're not super diverse. So we've got a lot of work to do, and we know what the incentives are for keeping a diverse population within our communities.
Yeah, I think one of the things that's going to end up happening, and one of the reasons why I think right now Trump or DeSantis will be the president in 24 is because we're moving in a very dangerous direction regarding the housing crisis. And what that's going to do is going to spark a massive nationalistic movement, especially when it comes to immigration and people coming from other countries that want to buy property in the United States where people can't afford to live. And no one's doing anything about it. They're literally doing nothing. They're doing less than nothing. They're actually making it worse. And
they're building a wall.
Yeah, we're building a big, beautiful wall on the southern border. Believe me, it's really great.
Joe's been working on it too.
Sleepy Joe's asleep.
Keeping the wall building happening.
Joe's already asleep. I'm totally awake. Yeah. I never sleep.
They're
totally
such morons. The numbers. The majority of people that are here illegally came here legally. They're not border crossing. That's not the problem, people.
What I've always found the most
That's the
interesting,
problem.
and you could see it in California especially, is the fact that with everybody who constantly wants to point the finger at those who, let's say, don't have their papers, let's say, who do you think are the ones that are yeah, that's got to be it.
Yeah.
Who do you think are the ones that are hiring them? You're getting hired by corporations that do not want to pay you a living wage. So they take advantage of desperate people from desperate parts of the world because that's all the choices they have. So I just don't understand.
You go after the employers.
How do people?
If that's what you can care about, go after the employers. Because that's not what they care about. They don't really care.
But Kylie, maybe this isn't too surprising because, as I'm sure you've observed on social media over the past few days, the Democratic establishment is getting very, very concerned because they're noticing that people are not falling in line. They know that $10,000 in student loan debt cancellation is nothing on two fronts. One, it's a joke in terms of what is being offered. And two, you're not even talking about tuition-free public college and trade schools,
right,
which is the only way to solve this crisis.
Right.
And the fact that they're like, can't you just shut up and do what we say? It's like, no.
They won't even stop the bleeding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
So I'm thinking that as bad as things are, maybe they do have to get a little bit worse, maybe a lot worse. I really don't think we're that far away from really having like this great awakening of sorts. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I got a question the other day, again, being from a more affluent district about, what does forgiving all student debt teach our kids,
Right.
And my answer to that is currently what we're teaching our kids with the current system that we have, where they graduate with $50,000 if they're lucky, $100,000 in debt. They can maybe they'll find a job in the field that they worked hard for in college to get their major in. They have car loans, skyrocketing rent. We're teaching kids that life is impossible. We are breeding resentment and apathy because of the crushing weight of everything. So I would rather live in a world where our students feel like, okay, great, I got my education paid for, rather than widening this division between everybody, because like you said, it's creating a desperate environment, which is not what we want and is actually is causing the downfall of our democracy.
Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.